Hey there. Are you tired of working yourself into exhaustion, chasing after low-end sales, right? Or perhaps you're kind of over working with clients who don't fully value your work, so maybe they're not doing the work and not getting the results that you know that they're capable of, right? If that is you, you are on the right live stream today, because what I'm going to be talking about today is really going to help you resolve those issues, right? I'm going to actually give you 3 key shifts you need to make in your mindset to call in clients who do value your work and who do the work and get results, right? And you're not going to be chasing after lower end sales anymore, because I'm going to give you the shifts that you need in order to sell at the 10K, the 50K, or whatever K level, okay? So that's going to take me about 20 minutes. So be sure to hang in with me for about 20 minutes. There's 3 shifts that I'm going to share with you. All right. My name is Desiree Stafford. If you've never attended one of my trainings before, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I do day in and day out. I work with really high-powered women. I call them powerhouses. And they are coaches. They are service-based entrepreneurs. And I really help them make the shifts that they need to make. I mean, we do some strategy too, but a lot of this is the internal work, right? In order to quickly scale to 100K months with a lot less effort, okay? So if you're someone who, like I said before, is really working yourself into exhaustion, you're feeling mentally and emotionally drained at the end of the month, at the end of the week, at the end of your days, you're going to want to pay attention to what I share with you today. And if you want to learn more about what I'm sharing here today, you can always check me out at DesireeStafford.com. Just DesireeStafford.com. I was going to give you a forwarding address to my trainings, but I think if you just go to my website, you'll find a lot of valuable information there. If you know anyone who will benefit from what I'm teaching today, please share this video and have them join us live. Cool? All right, because I will be taking your questions. I'm going to spend about 20 minutes about 15 minutes actually, going through the 3 shifts that I'm going to share with you today. And then I'll answer your questions at the end. So you can type your questions in. Hey, Jordan, how are you? You can, hey, Sarah, how are you? Sarah Ann, sorry. Hey, Elaine. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Stephanie. You can type your questions in into the comment section, and I'll get to them at the end. Cool? All right. So I am going to look at my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything, because I know this conversation is really important today. All right. Okay. So the first shift that you need to make is that less is more, right? So oftentimes, and I totally made this mistake myself, so I understand where it comes from, but oftentimes we feel that if we're going to charge more, we actually have to then do more for our clients. Maybe we have to spend more time, we have to put more things into our programs. And so if you're already feeling burnt out from the work you're doing with clients right now, that can create a sense of resistance. You're like, well, wait a minute, if I'm going to, offer a higher fee, then that means I have to do more, like more is going to be required of me. And so that can create some resistance, right? Some internal resistance. But and less is actually more. When we're talking about charging, 10K, 50K, even 100K or more, I have a client right now who's working on a deal that's a lot more than that, right? When we're talking about that, what you have to realize is the level of clients that those fees attract are the type of clients who don't want to spend more time with you, right? If they can literally get on the phone with you for 5 minutes and get insight or get a shift that they need in order to go out and implement a strategy and have that strategy be 10 times more effective, then that's all they need with you, right? They don't need to spend more time with you. They actually want less time with you. They just want to get straight to the thing that they need to know that's going to help them get the result that they're seeking. Cool? So it's important that you get that so that you're not resisting raising your fees, okay? I think I just shared that with you. Yeah. Less time. Okay. So another thing you want to remember is that higher level clients, they want more time for themselves too, right? These are people who are typically very busy, and they're coming to you because they want to be more efficient. They're typically at a point in their life where they want more quality of life, right? Where they want more free time for themselves, where they want more free time with their family, where they want to travel, do all those kind of things. So the last thing they want to do is spend like 3 hours with you on the phone, right? Like they just don't want to do that. They want to get in and get out. So you have to think about when you're creating your offers, how can you help clients get the best results, the most powerful impact in the shortest amount of time possible? When you get that right, people will be willing to pay you whatever your fees are without questioning it, because what they're really seeking is a transformation. And also, these are people who are used to investing, right? So the money doesn't scare them as much, right? And they totally get that it's not about your time, it's about the result at the end. Cool? All right. The second thing is that, or the second shift, I should say, is that people are not fucking broke, okay? I have to go over this because I cannot tell you how many times people will say to me, well, I want to charge more, but all of my clients are broke, right? Or that all the prospects that I attract never have the money. Listen, the hang up about money is not them, it's you, right? It's you. Because if you're thinking that people are broke, what will you do? You will attract people who are broke, right? And I totally get that you may have some friends and you may have some experience with clients who couldn't afford it, but that's not the general population, right? And you need to totally understand that, because if you don't understand it and you keep putting out, you know, the energy that reflects the fact that you believe that people are broke and that they can't afford it, what do you think you will attract, right? Your thoughts become things. So if you're a logical and rational person like myself, you may have to look for evidence, like not just take my word for it, but look for some evidence in your reality that it's not true that people are broke. One of the things that made a huge mental shift for me was I remember one day I was running a new ad campaign, and I was starting to kind of target for my ideal client, and I started to use the income brackets that Facebook offers for targeting. And when I realized, like, the people that I wanted to target are all people who are already at 6 figures and above, multiple 6 figures. And Facebook, I think, stops the actual number of the bracket at like 500,000. But bottom line is, there were over 100 million people who make over 6 figures and beyond 500,000, okay, in total. So that like blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck? Like, people have money, right? So it's not that they're broke. It was what I was thinking. Right? And it's the same thing with you. There are lots of people who have the cash, but if you don't believe that there are people who have the cash, you're going to put that out and that's what you're going to get. And where that really comes from, if we're really being honest with each other today, it really comes from your ability, or your inability, I should say, to receive at a higher level. So if you don't feel that you can receive 10K, that you can receive $50,000, I'm sorry, my mind is somewhere else today. Well, in the moment, sorry. If you don't believe that you can receive $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever the number is for your offer, what will you do? You will look for evidence that supports the fact that you can't receive it, instead of dealing with the real issue, which is allowing yourself to receive at a higher level. Typically, the people that I work with have been so used to basically putting themselves last on the list, and just believing that they're not worthy enough for whatever reason, right? Oftentimes it's traced back to childhood, that they get it into their head that nobody's going to pay them those amounts of money. And so the out then is to say, well, people can't afford it. And so if people can't afford it, I might as well keep, you know, selling these low end offers, even though it doesn't light me up, even though, you know, it's not really enough to allow me to pay my bills and have a life, right? So you really have to look at that. How much can you receive? Because it does you no good to be here listening to me share shifts on how you can charge more if you're not dealing with the real issue, which is how much you can actually allow yourself to receive, right? Because the cash is always here for you, but can you let it in, right? Or do you have beliefs that are blocking you from allowing that cash in? Cool? Okay. And if you have questions, again, please type them into the comment section and I will respond at the end. All right. The last thing that I want to talk about, the last shift, is this really speaks to your ability to deliver, okay? So one of the reasons why I see a lot of people kind of shrinking back, they'll say intellectually they know that they can command a higher fee, but they will tend to shrink back and then start offering lower stuff, or, you know, maybe do 1 or 2 high-end sales and then continue offering their lower-end stuff. That typically happens because, you know, they're not really sure or confident that they can deliver at a higher level. And that's usually coming from some experience of a client not getting a result in the past. And so if one client out of however many you serve didn't get results, then all of a sudden you're not good enough to serve people at a higher level. And I'm just going to tell you that's a whole bunch of bullshit, right? This is coming from someone who used to believe the same thing, who have watched my brilliant fucking clients, people who have attended Ivy League schools, people who have attended or who have PhDs, people who have excelled to very high levels in the corporate world, believe that they weren't good enough to serve the clients that they're here to serve because some client way back when didn't get results. It's just bullshit, right? What you have to realize is if you are not working with the right clients, guess what? They're not going to get results. You have to realize this is a relationship. If you're coaching someone, it is a relationship, which means there are 2 parties who are responsible. You as the professional are responsible for creating the conditions for your clients to get amazing results. So that means being able to articulate what needs to be done in what particular order for your clients to get the best results, and being able to support them through that process, right? Your clients, on the other hand, need to be in a position, and when I say position, what I really mean is they need to be mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially prepared to get the results that you can help them achieve. If that's not in alignment, what do you think is going to happen? You will have clients who don't get results, but you cannot beat up on yourself about that, right? If you think about if you compare it to a relationship, think about the relationships that you were in, whether you were dating, whether you were marrying someone, whatever the case may be, you were in a relationship and it was horrible, right? When the relationship ended, did you think that it was all your fault? Or did you recognize, okay, so I did some things or I didn't do some things that help move this relationship forward, and the other person didn't do some things to help move the relationship forward, and I learned a lesson, and so moving forward I can do better in the next relationship, right? So compare the bad relationship to a relationship where it was phenomenal, right? Where it was the right pairing. So maybe there were a few bumps along the road, but at the end of the day it was the right pairing, it was the right match, right? Your communication was easier. Each person took responsibility for their part in that relationship, and what happened? The relationship continued, right? You got the outcome that you wanted. It's the same thing when you're working with clients. So if you've had clients in the past that didn't get results, you really want to think about, okay, obviously you look at, is there something that I could have done differently? Sure, right? And we're all works in progress, so none of us are perfect, right? And then you want to look at your client. Was your client in the right space mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually to get the best results, right? And then you can make a decision based on truth, right? Not based on you're not good enough, you don't know your shit, but it wasn't the right pairing, right? And when you can allow yourself some compassion by looking at it from that place, then it's easier for you to shift into the place of course I know my stuff, right? And there's so many people out here who can benefit from working with me, right? So those are the 3 shifts I really want you guys to get, because I cannot tell you how many people I see struggling, limping along unnecessarily, working way harder than they need to work. Thanks for love, by the way, because they're believing bullshit that's keeping them from actually being available to the clients who need them in this moment. I guarantee you that there are so many clients around you, they're already circling around you, who absolutely need what you have to offer. But if you believe some of the bullshit beliefs that we've talked about today, if you believe that they don't have the money, right? If you believe that you're not good enough, any of that kind of stuff, what will you do? You will resist them, right? Unconsciously, you will reject them. You will actually repel them, right? So it's important that you get this, because obviously if you're repelling them, then you can't even get them to the freaking phone in order to close them, all right? These are the key mindsets that you have to understand. And when you get it, especially the last one that I just shared with you, that you are able to serve your people, even if someone in the past didn't get results, and it's about you finding the right match of client. One of the things that you can take some confidence in and be able to close people into your higher end sales with total integrity is knowing that if you can, in the sales conversation, help someone move past the beliefs that have kept them stuck, that have kept them from not getting results if they've invested in other programs before, if you can move them through all of that and get them to the area or to the part of the conversation where you're closing them and you're collecting a deposit, it means that you are able to serve them as a client, right? It means that you're able to serve them as a client. Because typically when someone is in a sales process, all of their shit's coming up, bubbling up to the surface, right? They want, the results that they say that they want, but then they're battling with all kinds of fears and everything else, right? If you can be in that space with someone, really hold that space for them powerfully, and have them say yes to themselves, you absolutely can coach and support them once they become a client. You're actually able to put them in a situation where they can perform as a client very powerfully. Cool? All right. So I hope that gives you some confidence. Does anyone have any questions about what I shared today? Hi, guys. Let me go back and say hello to everybody. Okay. So who did I not say hello to? Hey, Stephanie. Yes, Jordan, you can make it public. Hey, Denise, how are you? Hey, Aska. Hey, Sandra, how are you? Thank you. I'm amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you know, I attract amazing people, so I'm glad that you're in my company today. Hey, Bozina, how are you? Hey, Maureen. Hey, Hind. Yes, you did catch me live. Let's see, who else? Who else? Who else? Any questions? Okay, wait. So Denise says, wow, looking at it from the perspective of rejecting your ideal client changes things for me. Yes, right? When you're, let me just put it to you this way. When you are not standing in your full power, right? Because you're allowing all of these doubts to hold you back, you do repel your ideal clients. I will tell you that from personal experience. That's what I did for a long time. It's the same thing going back to the dating analogy I gave you before. If you are showing up on the dating scene and you are not being yourself, what are you going to attract, right? It's the same thing when it comes to clients, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to serving clients. All of this, by the way, is important because it's all connected. The way in which we call in our clients, the way we attract our clients, right? The way we enroll them into our programs, and then the way we also serve them once they become clients. All of that is connected, and it all stems from who you are being, right? And if you're being a muted version of yourself, how do you think your marketing is going to perform? What do you think your closing ratio is going to look like? What do you think your client results are going to look like? Obviously, you guys wouldn't be at the level that you're at if you weren't able to get people some results and if your marketing wasn't working on some level. But we're talking about heightening the level now, right? We're talking about you elevating yourself, and the more you elevate yourself, obviously you elevate your clients with you, right? So who you are being matters, right? And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk about the fact that I do work on strategy with my clients. I love strategy. It's fun to me. It comes naturally for me. But the majority of the work I do, what we spend, I would say 80% of our time focusing on, is who my clients are being. Because when you focus on that, not only are you magnetically attractive to your ideal clients, the people you were born to serve, the people who can handle your big leader energy, right? But you also, it has such a tremendous impact on your life, right? Because think about the fact that when you're holding yourself back, when you're muting your voice, when you're basically working yourself into exhaustion because you're afraid that if something comes easy to you, if you're too successful, then it's going to intimidate the people that you care about, you are not happy, you are not fulfilled, right? So all of that's related. If you want to attract clients who are wanting a high level of transformation, you have to embody the level of transformation that those clients are seeking, right? So that matters. It comes through in your marketing. It comes through in your sales conversations. It comes through in your coaching sessions, right? Or however you're running your programs, right? So all of this is connected, which is why it's so important. And if you're not clear on what it means about who you're being, what I'm really talking about is the thoughts that you think on a consistent basis, right? So this is not the sometime thoughts. It's what am I thinking on a consistent basis? How am I feeling on a consistent basis? And what actions am I taking on a consistent basis? Are they in alignment with what it is that I want, right? Are they in alignment with calling in my ideal clients? Are they in alignment with me closing 10K, 50K, 100K sales? That's the question, right? If they're not, go back and make some adjustments. And do the internal work before you start, trying to analyze Facebook algorithm changes, right? Before you go spend a whole bunch of money on ads, right? Before you try to figure out how to get 2 more people to open your email, okay? I'm not saying that none of those things matter. They have some impact, right? But what's most important is who you're being, because that translates through everything. I cannot tell you how many times, the clients that come to me, these are people who've been in business for a while. They know their shit. They're getting their clients great results, but their results are hit or miss, right? They're not consistent, which is why they hire me. They're frustrated. And the work that we do, the internal work that we do, and it's not a ton, but it is work, right? The internal work that we do, like that, things shift. Without them having to get a bigger list, without them having to have a team full of 10 people to create content for them, none of that stuff, right? Because who you're being, it really it shifts who you call in, right? Because it changes you on an energetic level, right? And so when you become an energetic match to your ideal clients, it's so much fucking easy to close, right? Let me tell you something. Closing a 10K sale, a 50K sale, or whatever K sale is so much easier to me than closing like a $500 sale. I have zero, thanks for the love, by the way. I have zero interest in that. And because I have zero interest and I have no passion, because I know that it's not going to really help, it's not going to move the needle, I can't sell something like that. But I can sell at a high level just like that because I believe in what I'm selling, right? I believe that I can deliver the results. I believe that the people that I'm signing are my ideal clients, the perfect people for me, the people that understand the way that I explain things so that they listen and they get the results based on, what I tell them to do, right? I totally believe that about what I'm selling. If I didn't, I couldn't fucking sell. Couldn't sell. So all of this matters, right? All of this matters. Any questions? Any other questions, I should say, because we're getting ready to wrap up. So I'm glad it makes sense to you, Hind. All right, so Elaine says, I'm not a coach, but what you say really resonates with me. Okay, cool. So what do you do, Elaine? Tell me what you do. All right, Denise. Denise says, you were so good at connecting all of these things in a clear way. Thank you. That's one of my gifts, right? It's one of the gifts, and I'll be honest, because a lot of times what we tend to do is diminish or devalue our gifts. Clarity is one of the gifts that I have. I'm a person who, it comes very naturally to connect the dots between things and to make it simple, to make it very clear, to be very direct, right? That's a gift that I have. And if you read the post I wrote today, there was a time when I didn't realize it was a gift. I actually thought it was a curse because people would not necessarily appreciate the fact that I was direct and the fact that I was clear. What did I learn from that experience? That those were not my ideal people, right? The people who I am right for totally value the fact that I am clear, that I am direct and all that kind of stuff. And it is a gift. And I wanted to share that with you because so often we either misunderstand our gifts or we undervalue our gifts. And if you're doing that, it's also going to be difficult for you to sell at a higher level because you're not going to understand why people need to work with you. Why you versus anybody else. Make sense? Okay. Any other questions before I go? Okay, one more question. All right. So Elaine says, I am a freelance writer mostly for web content and I'm starting a soap company making historical soap. So that's kind of interesting. Good for you. You're a freelance writer. That's awesome. So as a writer, okay, hold on. You added some more information on me, Elaine. She says, right now, I am very tired of writing for others, and I am very excited about historical soap. So then make the switch to historical soap, right? What I would encourage you to do in order to sell your historical soap at a higher price point, whatever that might be for you, I would really encourage you to identify why it's important for people to invest in historical soap. Get really clear on who your ideal clients are going to be, right? Because the same thing that I share that applies to the coaching industry, it can apply to what you're doing, right? Obviously, you're not going to charge $10,000, right, for historical soap, but you can charge higher end if you're really clear on who the product is for, why it's a benefit, why they need it versus, going out and buying a bar of Dove or whatever the case may be. Got it? All right, cool. So I hope this has served you. I'm so glad you appreciated today's post, Denise. All right, cool. So I'm so glad you guys were here. If you have any questions about anything I shared, please hit me in the comments below. Also, share this video with anyone that you think will benefit. If you want to be able to charge and close sales, this is not just about bumping up your price tag, but be able to really receive clients at the 10K, the 50K, or whatever K level, check me out at DesireeStafford.com/session, and let's have a conversation about that for free. Cool? All right, I wish you guys the best. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.